You are watching the World 24/7 on the NDTV network. I am Parmeshwar Bawa. An action-packed bulletin lined up for you. Let's begin with the top headlines you need to know. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will travel to the United Kingdom and the Maldives from the 23rd until the 26th of this month, while India and the UK are likely to formally sign the free trade agreement during this visit. Our Prime Minister will be the guest of honour at the Maldives Independence Day celebrations. Russia is open to peace with Ukraine, but achieving its goals remain a priority. This is what the Kremlin spokesman, Dmitry Peskov, has said, days after Donald Trump gave Moscow a 50-day deadline to agree to a ceasefire or face tougher sanctions. Hong Kong was battered by strong winds and heavy rain as Typhoon Wifa passed through China's southern coast. Over 280 flights were impacted. Gaza's health ministry says at least 85 Palestinians had been killed queuing up for food. The victims had been killed in different locations. Israel's military, meanwhile, says they shot at a gathering of thousands of Palestinians who they claimed posed a threat. China has formally started the construction of the $167 billion dam over the Brahmaputra River in Tibet, closer to the Indian border in Arunachal Pradesh, as per a PTI report. Koneru Humpy scripted history by becoming the first Indian woman to reach the semi-finals of the FIDE Women's Chess World Cup. And Rajasthan's capital, Jaipur, has outranked Italy's Florence in the World's Best Awards 2025 survey by global travel publication Travel and Leisure. Well, this week, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his counterpart Keir Starmer will review progress under the India-UK Comprehensive Strategic Partnership with a specific focus as far as trade and the economy is concerned. Also consider tech, defence, security, education and people-to-people exchanges in a bilateral meeting on the 24th of July. Our Prime Minister will also call on King Charles III during this visit that is expected to see formalisation of their free trade agreement. By the way, the government has also announced Prime Minister Modi's visit to Maldives, where he will be the guest of honour on the 26th of July Independence Day celebrations. This will actually be Prime Minister Modi's first visit to the country since President Mohammad Muizzu assumed office back in November 2023, signalling a complete turnaround in ties since the controversial expulsion of Indian military personnel, and also the first by any Indian PM on the Maldives' independence anniversary. Here's what to expect.
A whirlwind 4-day visit with 2 strategic pit stops, Prime Minister Narendra Modi travels to the UK and Maldives from July 23rd to the 26th, blending trade diplomacy with geopolitical recalibration. In London, Prime Minister Modi will sign a landmark India-UK free trade agreement, the first major post-Brexit deal for Britain and a big-ticket win for Indian exporters. The Pact slashes tariffs on 99% of Indian goods headed to the UK while opening India's booming market to British cars, whiskey and more. 3 years of back and forth and now the ink on paper. The FTA promises to turbocharge bilateral trade and deepen the economic embrace between New Delhi and London. Beyond commerce, this visit signals stronger strategic alignment from cybersecurity to climate action and a shared vision for an open Indo-Pacific. From London, Prime Minister Modi heads to Malé. He'll be the chief guest at the Maldives' 60th National Day, a symbolic gesture but one steeped in political meaning. This marks his first visit under President Mohammad Muizzu and the first since rocky diplomatic waters stirred by the India Out campaign and the island nation's pivot towards China. Once hailed as the cornerstone of India's neighbourhood-first policy, ties with Malé hit turbulence. Now Prime Minister Modi's trip is being seen as a reset, a chance to rebuild trust, reaffirm maritime cooperation, and re-anchor India's strategic footprint in the Indian Ocean. President Musu's visit to India last year hinted at a thaw. Modi's presence now sends a strong message that despite differences, diplomacy endures. With Ridhima Kedia, Kargi Rawat for NDTV World.
Meanwhile, Nepal's Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli has received an invitation from India for a 2-day official visit in September, as per sources. As per officials from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Nepal and another official from the Office of the Prime Minister Oli has received an invitation for a visit to India from the 16th of September, and this possibly will be the shortest visit of the Nepali Prime Minister to India. Nepali envoy to India Shankar Prasad Sharma in an interview also hinted at the visit, stating that Prime Minister Oli would travel to India very soon, as both sides work towards finalizing agreements in key areas. You must note that the ambassador's remarks came 2 days after Prime Minister Oli confirmed that a visit to India was indeed on the cards. In other news, the family of Ranjit Singh from Jammu and Kashmir, who was abducted in Niger's Dosso region, has appealed to help from the government to help to bring him back safely. His wife Sheila Devi, in a heartfelt message, shared her plight and asked the government for swift intervention into the situation. Just listen in to what his wife Sheila Devi had to say.
मेरी ये अपील है अब भारत सरकार से भी, प्रधानमंत्री जी से भी, सबसे डॉक्टर जितेंद्र जी से, सबसे ये अपील है कि मेरे हस्बैंड को, जिनका नाम श्री रंजीत सिंह जी है, उनको सेफली घर वापस लाया जाए। मेरे छोटे छोटे बच्चे हैं, तीन बच्चे हैं मेरे। इन 4 दिनों में मेरी लाइफ बिल्कुल चेंज हो चुकी है। मुझे कुछ पता नहीं है कि मेरे हस्बैंड किस सिचुएशन में है। वहाँ का मुझे गवर्नमेंट का कुछ आइडिया नहीं है, क्योंकि वहाँ पे काफी ज्यादा ये इंसिडेंट अब जब से मेरे हस्बैंड के साथ हुआ है, मैंने न्यूज में देखा कि वहाँ पे ये सब हो रहा है।
Let's turn our attention now to the United States, where President Donald Trump has triggered a political firestorm after posting an AI-generated video depicting former President Obama being arrested inside the Oval Office. This controversial clip, shared via Trump's blog on Truth Social, shows a hyper-realistic video of Obama being handcuffed and led away by federal agents in the same office he once occupied as Commander-in-Chief. This video from Trump has sparked criticism for the US president, with the move actually being called deeply irresponsible because this video did not come with any disclaimer that it's artificial or fictional.
No one, especially the president, is above the law.
No one is above the law.
No one is above the law.
No one is above the law.
Nobody is above the law.
No one is above the law.
Nobody is above the law.
No one 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 is above the law. Oh, son of a...
Young man, there's no need to feel down. I said, young man, pick yourself off the ground. I said, young man, 'cause you're in a new town. There's no need to be unhappy. Young man, there's a place you can go. I said, young man, when you're short on your dough, you can stay there. And I'm sure you will find many ways to have a good time.
Staying with updates from the US, well, days after the Justice Department asked a federal judge to unseal grand jury testimony related to the disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein, Republicans and Democrats have suggested that the move was insufficient and called for the release of more information. US President Donald Trump has been contending with fierce criticism from some of his supporters over his administration's handling of materials related to the sex trafficking investigations of Jeffrey Epstein and his connections to rich and powerful figures on the left as well as right. Mr. Epstein, as you know, died by suicide in 2019 while in federal prison awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges. But for a quick update on what's happening and how things stand on ground zero, we have with us senior journalist and author Spencer Critchley, live from California at the moment. Spencer, always a pleasure to have you on NDTV. Members of Congress, we are given to understand from both parties, say they want to see more files released, while Donald Trump actually encouraged his base to move on. What's exactly happening?
Well, yes, this is just more the fantasyland version of reality that Donald Trump wants his followers to live within. His supporters, and he as well, have been the ones hyping the Jeffrey Epstein conspiracy theory for many years now. And then all of a sudden, when it looks like his attorney general was actually about to release some information, for some reason, the brakes got thrown on really fast. And of course, the first assumption would be that it's Donald Trump himself who pulled the lever on those brakes. The Democrats, of course, have not been pushing for the release of these files, and they've been criticized for that by the very same people who have been obsessing about Jeffrey Epstein all these years. Possibly, by the way, with good reason. I mean, so far it's a conspiracy theory, but there's plenty of tantalizing evidence there that something fishy has been going on for a very long time. But the Democrats have not been pushing particularly hard. The investigations that have gone on so far have not turned up much solid evidence. Okay. Now, the Democrats are pushing for the release, and many Republicans, as you say, are pushing as well. And it seems entirely reasonable that whatever can be released, redacting names of people who haven't been charged with any crime, for example, should be released.
Indeed. Well, you're right. Trump supporters have been hyping the Epstein conspiracy theory, and then all of a sudden, when information was about to be released, Trump's administration seems to have pushed the brakes. Like how we'll see how this plays out. Spencer Critchley, thank you so much for joining us on NDTV and making time for us.
My pleasure.
In other news, Iran has replaced air defenses damaged during last month's conflict with Israel. This is what Iran's Defa press news agency is reporting, quoting Mahmoud Mousavi, the regular army deputy for operations. What happened in June? Well, Israel's Air Force dominated Iran's airspace and dealt a heavy blow to the country's air defenses, while Iranian armed forces launched successive barrages of missiles and drones on Israeli territory. But now Iran says they have replaced air defenses that were damaged. Switching tracks, Indian crypto platform CoinDCX suffered a cyber attack, resulting in around 380 crore rupees being stolen from the company's account. However, the company says no customer funds were affected, but CoinDCX's internal security and operations teams have been working closely with leading cybersecurity partners to investigate the matter, patch any vulnerabilities, and trace the movement of funds too. In fact, the company is also collaborating with its exchange partner to block and recover assets and plans to launch a bug bounty program soon as well. The CEO, Sumit Gupta, has taken to Twitter to assure users that their funds have not been affected. Listen in.
Today, one of our internal operational accounts, used only for liquidity provisioning on a partner exchange, was compromised due to a sophisticated server breach. I can confirm that the CoinDCX wallet used to store customer assets are not impacted in this and are completely safe. No customer funds have been impacted. Your assets remain completely safe and protected in our secure cold wallet infrastructure. All the trading activity on our platform, including INR withdrawals, are fully operational.
Meanwhile, India has become the world's top player in real-time digital payments, largely due to the rapid growth of the Unified Payments Interface UPI, according to a recent International Monetary Fund note. According to the data from the Press Information Bureau, meanwhile, UPI now processes over 18 billion transactions every month, accounting for 85% of India's total digital payments. In fact, in June alone, the platform recorded 18.39 billion transactions worth 24.03 lakh crore, which is a 32% increase from June last year. My colleague Subhana Sheikh joins us to put this in perspective. Subhana, we're given to understand that India is leading the world in fast payments, but take us through UPI's rapid expansion. We're now live in over 7 countries.
Yes, you're absolutely right. It's beyond India at this point. We're live in 7 countries with foraying into France, Europe being the new continent in this space. UPI is actually being felt across borders. What we're also hearing is that UPI's interoperability has catalyzed a shift away from cash and cards, paving the way for a truly digital first economy. The IMF report is also saying that it has been years of planning that has taken UPI to where it is now. It also says that this was kept in mind, the whole UPI journey was kept in mind with financial inclusion in mind, and Jan Dhan accounts, the whole government's Jan Dhan scheme that has also led to this expansion. I believe as of July 9 there have been over 55 crores Jan Dhan accounts that were opened, nearly 558 million accounts. And also like you rightly said, UPI actually now handles 85% of India's digital payments. So it's a big move for India.
Swana, thanks so much for joining us with the roundup. Well, now shifting our focus to Azerbaijan's capital, Baku, where India is shining at the Women's Chess World Cup. Grandmaster Koneru Hampi has stormed into the semi-finals, becoming the first Indian ever to do so. She held her nerve in a solid draw against China's Yushin Song, sealing the deal after winning their first game. Meanwhile, it's an all-Indian showdown between D. Harika and Divya Deshmukh, with both locked into tense draws. They now head to tie breaks, ensuring at least 2 Indians in the final 4. But it's heartbreak for R. Vaishali, who narrowly lost to ex-world champ Tan Xiongyi despite a strong fight. But with India already making history in Baku, the hunt is now on for a spot in the candidates. Slipping into a quick break, back in a moment with the latest updates for you. Do stay tuned. Typhoon rains batter Hong Kong before WIFA weakens to a severe tropical storm. Cathay Pacific Airways, though, had announced widespread delays and cancellations of flights to and from Hong Kong International Airport. Authorities, meanwhile, have advised residents to remain indoors. 2 people have died and 5 were missing in the South Korean county of Gapyeong after a landslide engulfed houses and campsites, and flooding swept away vehicles amid heavy rainfall. This brings the nationwide death toll to 17, with 11 people missing since the rain began on Wednesday, forcing more than 13,000 people to evacuate. On August 2nd, 2027, the skies over parts of Europe, North Africa and the Middle East are set to host a celestial show, a total solar eclipse of unusual duration. And this isn't a regular eclipse, with totality extending up to a remarkable 6 minutes and 23 seconds. It promises to be one of the most significant celestial occurrences of the century. It's been 50 years since we first met Jay and Viru, the unforgettable duo played by Amitabh Bachchan and Dharmendra. But Sholay, the film, remains etched in the hearts of people even today. And not just in India, even Iran is in awe for the magic of movies 5 decades later. This year, it has been 50 years since the movie was released. But to mark the occasion, Iran's prominent national newspaper featured this full-page tribute to the film, which is quite a rare honor for a foreign cinematic work. Twitter handle Consulate General of the Islamic Republic of Iran in Mumbai shared the news on X.
The movie is dubbed in Persian language and released in Iran in 1975, and soon became a most favorite and beloved film in that era. And more interesting, that after 31 years, this movie is still remain one of the most top and all over good films in Iran, based on a survey that our national TV conducted.
And India's Pink City is now among the top global tourist hotspots. outranking Italy's Florence in 2025 rankings. Rajasthan's capital Jaipur has outranked Italy's Florence in the World's Best Awards 2025 survey by global travel publication Travel and Leisure. Jaipur ranked 5th on the list with a score of 91.3, ahead of Florence, which placed 11th with a score of 90.08. Travel and Leisure described Jaipur as a must-see destination, praising its opulent hotels, world-class shopping, and vibrant cultural heritage. Let's switch tracks now. Russian President Vladimir Putin is ready to move towards a peace settlement for Ukraine, but Moscow's main objective is to achieve its goal. This is what Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov has told state television in his latest remarks. And in other news, Japan's ruling coalition has lost its majority in the country's upper house, but Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba has said he has no plans to quit. Voters went to the polls on Sunday for the tightly contested election, being held at a time of frustration at the coalition of the Liberal Democratic Party, as well as its junior partner Komeito, over rising prices and the threat of US tariffs. But speaking after the polls closed, the Prime Minister said he solemnly accepts the harsh result, but that his focus was on trade negotiations. In further crucial news we're tracking, in Syria's southern province of Al-Suwaida, the Druze community is facing what its members have described as an ethnic cleansing campaign amidst a rapidly deteriorating security situation that has claimed the lives of hundreds over the past week. Reports of targeted killings, forced religious humiliations, and sectarian clashes are emerging from a region that has seen continual tensions following the fall of Bashar al-Assad. In fact, a Druze man has told NDTV that this is not a conflict anymore, this is extermination. We have these details thanks to my colleague Samiran Mishra. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, which is a UK-based monitoring group, has reported that more than 940 people had been killed in Suwaida province in just the past week. Meanwhile, Bedouin fighters positioned outside the southern Syrian city of Suwaida have told media outlets that they will observe a ceasefire with the Druze community there, but have not ruled out resuming hostilities. And finally, in a first for India, swapping livers from two different hospitals has given a new lease of life for two patients. They actually had incompatible family donors, and this exchange has saved their lives. It took a court order. My colleague Sam Daniel has covered this, and it's opened new possibilities, as you can imagine. Sam joins you with the details.
See, basically, swap has been legally approved, but within the hospital. What we have done for the first time in India is inter-hospital, because Gem Hospital and Ramakrishna Hospital, we had patients, but all were not compatible. So we had a discussion with their team and we swapped the organs with the government approval. So by doing this, the compatibility is maintained.
Donors from these two families not compatible with the recipients. So now exchanging.
Yeah, correct.
Why is this important?
So this expands the organ pool for the patients with end-stage liver disease. So the organ shortage can come down by transplanting patients with an organ from a donor from another hospital.
Could work well for other transplants as well, be it kidney.
Particularly will be applicable only to the living donor transplantations. So for liver as well as kidneys, this inter-hospital swap will open a new avenue and will give a new leash of life to the patients who are in need but don't have a compatible donors within the family.
This lead to, say, commercial exploitation leading to organ trade?
No, I'll specifically say no, because this goes through a strict set of legal protocols, and the government appointed committee oversees all through this run, and then they give a final approval after carefully interviewing both the patient families, their relationship document, their medical reports, and then they give the approval.
You had a green corridor put in place with the help of the police?
Yes.
How long was it?
It was 30 minutes.
Thank you for investing your time and watching this edition of The World 24/7. As always, we'll keep tracking the latest updates for you. Do stay tuned.